So, finally, we are about to get the race underway. We apologise for the delay, but we're just ensuring everyone has a fair shot of the connection being reset for everybody. So, as a reminder, XJackLacey on the front row with Ashbest. If you want the rest of the grid, then just pop up the previous stream and the grid's at the end if you need reminding, if you didn't watch it. Because unfortunately, I've had to split this stream into two. Qualifying is the previous one on my channel, GamingAlimonda, and this is the race. Proper 36 laps of this Interlagos circuit. Seen some great races in Formula 1 here over the years. Ayrton Senna getting his car home despite the car being stuck in a particular gear, almost collapsing afterwards. Lewis Hamilton, of course, in 2008. Button in 2009. It's just a racer's circuit. And Ian Simcock with a very obscure Ghostbusters reference. I appreciate that. So, rain to start, intermediate weather. So I expect everyone will have those green wall tyres.
Hello.
So people will be very, very nervous on the brakes into turn one, not to rip their wing off at the start.
Yeah, if you knock it off in wet conditions, pretty much say goodbye to any chance of points, especially when you've got 20 drivers of this calibre so close together.
Yes. And 20 seconds is the pit lane time, although you have to consider there's a bit extra with that sort of small section of track afterwards. So it's more like 25 seconds, so keep that in mind. So then, we're on the grid. XJackLacey,
Oh no.
Little Blocks. What?
There's a Haas sideways on the grid on my screen.
Everything looks fine on mine, so I will ignore it. XJackLacey lights away, and a decent start from the Haas driver. And Little Blocks challenging XJackLacey for the lead of the race, although better traction from XJackLacey. Is everyone getting through okay? Yes, it looks like everyone is okay for now. Ferrari's going sideways. I think that was Big C. Yes, Big C was going sideways. He's dropped further back. But let's go back to the front. Little Blocks, can he mount a challenge for the lead at this early stage? And he does. Slot in behind.
Oh, wow.
Greeny's off. Greeny is off, and he's lost it at turn 4, and he's dropping down the order, down to 7th position. JD right behind him. And oh, there's another car off in the background. I think that's Lordy Boy, the Haas driver. Hellboy up to 19th as a result. So, oh, that's a really bad camera angle. I have found in these, when I was looking at race earlier, that the camera angles aren't great enough. And Big C has a 5-second penalty, ignoring a yellow flag. Stop and go. So when he stops for those dry tyres later on, he will have to stay 5 seconds. That's going to be really costly to his chances. And XJackLacey already has a second advantage to the Haas of Little Blocks. And not too many change of position. Greeny the biggest loser, losing 4 positions. AMS up to 3rd, gaining 2 from the start. Oogie settling into 4th, Cliffy 5th. Big C in 6th, Greeny in 7th, JD in 9th, Ashbest in 9th, Jamie up to 10th. From 12th position.
Making a move on JD up the inside in turn 1, and it's pretty simple in the end.
Yes, it is.
Breaks.
And then the other Ferrari. Now, can JD come back? And for some reason, my timing screen keeps switching itself off, so hopefully that will sort itself out.
Okay.
Hashtag Codemasters once again.
Cliffy is hounding the back of Oogie, he's putting the pressure on. Using the medium traction, I think, compared to Oogie's traction off, so that'll definitely favour him in these conditions.
Yes, probably right, Simo. So Big C may get that penalty taken off later, but we don't know specifically what happened. But usually, that sort of thing on lap 1, it's not usually the driver's fault, knowing these games. So XJackLacey, second the gap ahead of Little Blocks, who's keeping nicely in touch with him. So I think the main battle on track at the moment is going to be between these two. Cliffy, the Mercedes driver, against Oogie, up to 4th. Oogie looking for some strong points. 3 points in Australia with an 8th place finish. No points last week in Malaysia. But Cliffy seems to have a bit more straight line speed. Oogie goes defensive to the inside. Terrible camera angle again, so I'm going to stick with the T-cam. Oogie defends the inside. Bit of a switchback from Cliffy. Can he get a bit more traction out of the centre S's? It's just about even. Cliffy runs right onto the curbs and luckily gets back on track before the grass. You don't want to go on the grass in these conditions. So we're not sure when the rain will stop, but we expect it will be at some point in this race.
Ash is attacking Greeny now. Greeny obviously with that broken wing.
Yes.
And he was right behind him. Just dropped back about 10th. Oh, no, he doesn't quite go for it.
Well, Ashbest, that would have been a very ballsy move into that section of the track. So into Sector 2 we go. Lap 3 already of the 36th lap. PSGL F1 Brazilian Grand Prix. Big C up ahead of these two, and he's closing to the back of Cliffy, who's still stuck behind the Force India Oogie. Further down the order, the gaps, just like qualifying, very small, so it's going to be difficult to keep an eye on everybody. HELLBOY's moved up to 15th position, incidentally, from the back, so he's having a fine race so far. So let's keep on board with Ashbest, who's now right on the gearbox of that Sauber. Up ahead I can see Oogie under threat once again from Cliffy, but I'm going to stick with the McLaren battling away at the Sauber. Can he move around the outside? Look at that! Okay. Cliffy moving around the outside. Ahead, and he's
going
gone
ahead.
ahead.
Outside in turn 2 and he's been forced off, sorry about that, by Greeny.
Yeah, Greeny forced him off, but I don't think that move was on for Ashbest, to be honest. JD moves up to 8th as a result. So Cliffy, we just saw it in the outer shot, going round outside of Oogie into the centre S's and gets the move done, unlike Ashbest, who tried the same move on Greeny but just got forced off the road. I think fairly by Greeny, I think it was his corner.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not... He did kind of come back quite aggressively and he definitely hit Ash. It wasn't Ash hitting him. We'll see. Whether Ash decides to report into the stewards or anything.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So, Oogie down to 5th position. Will Big C be the next man to get past him, the 7-time PSGL champion? Bit of a train now forming with Greeny, JD, Ashbest, Jamie, MaxiLucaGT5, all in this train of cars. And further back, Nick Pine under enormous pressure from Paudie and HELLBOY. So I'm going to stick with this little midfield action just for a few moments.
Yeah, Maxi, Nick, Aaron, they've all lost their wings, so...
Oh, and now HELLBOY making a move on Paudie. He's moved up to 14th, so a decent few opening laps from HELLBOY as he fights to get back into the points. So he goes down the inside of the Toro Rosso driver. And Nick Pine not getting a good exit out of the centre S's. And there's the two Renaults of Aaron and Joel keeping a watching brief. So now HELLBOY looking to make a move on the Red Bull of Nick Pine. For some reason this game loves that rear wing camera view, which is just rubbish. And that allows HELLBOY to go in, and look at that, Paudie just takes both of them. A brilliant move. They both went deep into the corner and Paudie moves up to 13th, but now HELLBOY is going to try and come back at him. But yeah,
Joel's gone off, Joel spun it.
Yeah, just saw Joel go off, made contact with Pine, I believe. So it's a furious scrap down there, no points on offer here. But they are having some fun out there. It looks like the rain has stopped, so it won't be too long before we are getting pit stops for dry tyres. So Paudie moves back ahead of HELLBOY, but let's see if HELLBOY can regain 13th position. Given the pace HELLBOY is showing in these mixed conditions at least, I wonder where he would have been if he had been able to qualify. But long way to go. Lap 6. Another 30 laps of this Interlagos circuit. And look at the speed HELLBOY has. He's got far more. In fact, he had so much more, he nearly torpedoed off the track. Now HELLBOY should get this move done later on the brakes, and he gets it done nicely. Another excellent move from HELLBOY.
They're going 3 wide. They're going 3 wide. Ash, Jamie and Maxi. Let's see who's after the late breakers. It's Ash around the outside. Nice defensive move there.
And DRS has been enabled.
Maxi and Jamie tangle and have a massive kind of tank slapper.
So Remco, Pine, Aaron, Josh and Joel all in the pits for dry tyres, I believe. So they have made the early pit stop. Not sure how much difference that will make to their positions, because most of the rest of the field, it's a short lap. But they made the early jump clearly. So Ashbest, looks like JD came out best out of that one. So XJackLacey had the 2-second lead from Little Blocks. Similar gap between Little Blocks and AMS. Cliffy closing on to the back of AMS. We could see there's going to be a lot of cars coming into the pits. So let's go back to XJackLacey, who enters the pits. Very tricky pit entrance this, especially with the wet tyres. And maybe a couple of people will get a 5-second penalty. And yellow's in sector 3.
Size.
Oh, Pine out of the race. We're going to...
Yeah. Oogie gets 5-second stop, goes speeding in the pits.
Yeah, soft tyre. Oh, XJackLacey is being held. Well. Yeah, XJackLacey was held in the pits for a moment, but he's okay. Greeny gets a replacement wing. So many pit stops going on, and most of the drivers seem to be going for soft tyres. Skeevan onto the medium tyres. Big C serves his 5-second penalty, and he's going to be behind the Sauber of Greeny, so that's cost him. Remco on super sauce, because he did a lap earlier, he's now moved up to 10th. Can he gain any more positions? Let's see. And he's right behind Big C, so 10 world championships between these two, so that could be a feisty little engagement we're about to see. Little Remco will have a tyre advantage once they come up to temperature. So XJackLacey maintains his lead, the top 5 as you were. Skeevan and JD have actually gained places thanks to Greeny's wing change. So let's see then.
Right on the back of AMS.
Yeah, we're now gonna really see who has the best dry weather pace. And Cliffy did impress in the practice sessions I did with these guys earlier. So let's see. And Ashbest, what's happened to Ashbest? Last week's race winner. And he has retired from the race. He's damaged his wing. I think he's called it a day. Wow, dramatic stuff. So we are, at this stage of the race, we're guaranteed a third different winner from 3 rounds unless Big C pulls off something extraordinary. And Ashbest, frustrated team radio message. Sarcastic comment about clean racing. He's not happy, but there's always next week.
Joelianomanu with the fastest lap, so he's clearly the fastest on the dry tyres out of everyone who picked the lap earlier, so that's impressive by him. PSGL last.
Yeah, there's a lot of mix of different tyres, and the medium runners might be able to go to the end, but that remains to be seen. But I think the majority of the field will be stopping again. Anyone who's not on the mediums, 100% will be stopping again. So, long way to go. So at the moment, the main battle on track is between AMS and Cliffy, less than 2/10 between the two. Final podium position. AMS has shown in previous races he can defend pretty well, having been promoted from the low division last season. Cliffy doesn't seem to have quite... Oh, and he went a bit late on the brakes. He managed to avoid slamming into the rear of that Renault powered Red Bull.
Remco's attacking Big C. This could be feisty. Oh my god.
Oh, and they touch. And Remco rather aggressively gets past Big C.
It was quite forceful, that's for sure. But,
and a 3-second penalty. But Big C's coming back at Remco. This is a battle from the old seasons of PSGL, and Big C dives down. Oh, Remco rather cuts the apex a bit. No love lost there between those two. So Remco moves up to 9th, and he'll be chasing after the slow runs in front of him, and a 3-second time penalty for Skeevan. So that will not be held in his course.
Cliffy up the inside of AMS. Cliffy's got him.
Yeah.
That is an unorthodox place.
Yeah. I think he perhaps realised he didn't have the straight line speed, and so he got the move done somewhere to take AMS by surprise. But now, can AMS come back? And Cliffy, judging by the traction out of the final section of track, he's not really close enough to doing so. So Skeevan is on the mediums, and he could be causing a bit of a train. He's on the slowest compound in the top 10. So JD right behind. Is Remco close? No. Just checking on Remco, and a poor exit for JD, so that will allow Skeevan to get further up the road. What about behind him? Greeny, Remco, Big C. Big C is in DRS, so Remco closing right behind him. He's not going to let Remco get away, especially after those moves earlier.
Aaron and Josh, Josh in the slipstream there, and will he send it up the inside? No, he doesn't.
No, he does not. And what about Paudie? No changes of position for now. So, XJackLacey really showing the dry weather pace now. 2.6 second gap to Little Blocks. He doesn't seem to have an answer for the moment. Same tyre compounds, so there's comparability on the tyre compounds. Cliffy up to third, already a second up the road from AMS. Oogie really finding that pace, but he's in a solid 5th place, which would be his best result of the season if he stays there. Skeevan struggling a little bit for traction on those mediums, but he'll be able to go a lot longer into the race, and he'll...
Dixie's got to run on Remco here.
He certainly does. We saw it in the background. Remco doesn't feel the need to go defensive. Big C, he's going to set it up for turn 4. And
Really
who's going to get...
much closing speed in that Ferrari. Sorry about that.
It's alright. And now Big C, can he close? No, not at the moment. So they go.
God.
Pixie getting very close. So Josh, can he get closer? Seems to be similar wings being run by a lot of the field. Josh trying to get past the Renault of Iran up ahead.
To be honest with you, I don't think Big C will be too annoyed sticking by Remco, because Remco is catching up to the train ahead by about half a second of that.
Yes.
So, you know, he's saving his tyres in the slipstream, he's getting a DRS, he's getting up to train for 6th, which is okay.
Yes, and Skeevan will definitely be holding those guys up if the likes of JD and Greeny can't get past him quickly enough. So we're on board with Josh at the moment. So he's trying to get past Iran for 13th. Josh in theory should have a massive tyre advantage. He's on the super soft compound at the moment, with Iran on the medium compound going for a very long stint. And he's got Jamie running in 15th. So it's not been a good race for the reigning champion so far on a track which frankly hasn't been a happy hunting ground for him in the past.
No, it definitely hasn't. I mean, he's just connected twice here to lose out on the F1 title, so he's not a fan of the circuit, I think, to say the least. Or perhaps more accurately, he's not a fan of the Wi-Fi on the Sky. But yeah.
Well, after the disconnects he's had in the past, no wonder really. So Jamie around the back of Josh, this little group do seem to be struggling to find that straight line speed. So we've had 2 retirements so far. Nick Pine retiring just before the pit stops, and then Ashbest retiring as well. Nixie closing in on Remco, but not really enough. It is entirely possible we could be seeing something similar we saw in F1 2016, and there was a sort of slipstream glitch, but no idea at this stage, so it's not something I've actually seen in this game.
Yeah, there are kind of widespread rumours that there is one. I think it's in place here because people just can't close up on each other. I mean, we usually expect a little bit more closing speed, but I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, well they're able to follow each other closely, looking at some of the gaps, but 7 are able to overtake, so it could come down to some individual errors.
It's almost as if the cars are just not punching a hole in the air and they're not there, and they're all just running in clean air. Because obviously, yeah, they're being able to follow close, so it indicates there's no dirty air, but then they're not closing in straight lines, so it indicates they've not got slipstream. Weird.
Yeah, and if that's the case, it's going to be very difficult to see some overtakes. It'll be something more like 3-second penalty for Little Blocks, so that would put Cliffy up to 2nd as it stands. Mixie, he's got a little bit slipstream there, but not enough.
Yeah, now Remco's falling back from the group ahead, so he's going to start looking for this overtake. Yeah. He's got a brilliant run, and he's going to surely do it here.
Yeah, he got a 3-second penalty, went over the curbs. It was a poor exit from Remco. Surely those super softs aren't going off already, but it looks like they are.
Remco gets a mighty switchback though, using all his experience, judging the racing line, but doesn't quite make anything of it. And Big C is released to chase down the group ahead.
Yeah, but Skeevan holding up these guys. It's now nearly 5 seconds between Skeevan and Oogie.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is going on here because Lordy Boy's car is massively desynced. It keeps putting him in 18th, then back up to 1st. Something's going on here. It's not quite right.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that switching on my screen, but yeah, something is going on. He's been 17th, as far as I can tell.
17th, oh, he's 18th on my screen. Definitely some issues then.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, we just have to grin and bear it. Carry on with this race as it's going. So XJackLacey leading this race by 3.2 seconds. HELLBOY with another 3-second penalty. So his recovery not going to plan, although he has got a big time penalty. Oogie, don't forget, has 15 seconds as well. And as it stands, he will be dropping out of the points with that penalty. So that will really hurt, given he's running in a fine 5th at the moment. So Skeevan is probably fortunate that there seems to be an issue with the slipstream, because I think he would have been overtaken by the likes of JD and Greeny by now with their superior tyres. So
for sure,
it looks like JD might have to think about doing some sort of move like we saw Cliffy do in Sector 2 just to get past. Well, hopes Skeevan makes a mistake, but the trouble is Skeevan's tyre will start to come into play for him as JD's wear off. So JD's got to get that move done soon if he can.
Yeah, it will, and obviously Skeevan on the mediums could attempt the one stop. He's gone deep there though. You never know. Take him to the end.
Yeah, Skeevan did go deep, but it hasn't really hurt him, because I think JD did the same because he picks up a penalty. Big C rapidly catching this group. But will he be able to pass them? That's the question. The answer may not be one that we like.
He's probably going to try to do something in the pits, because he's probably not going to be able to make anything work on track very easily, passing a train of 3 cars all slipstreaming, DRSing each other.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about Brazil, but there does tend to be problems at this track. On F1 2016, when it rained, there was a lot of desync problems. I'm not sure why. It's this track, but it just seems to be in. I think even in 2015 there were issues on this track as well, in particular.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's a track that's infested.
Clearly, Codemasters are discriminatory to Brazilians for some reason.
That and Belgians as well. Spa always seems a hot spot for issues.
So Remco has massively dropped back from Big C. Now he's under attack from MaxiLuca. So let's see how Remco goes through his corner. Oh, he's cut the corner again. That's definitely another warning. But he gets a better exit as a result. It's going to hurt his MaxiLuca. Incidentally, I think he's only had 3 seconds of penalty so far. So for him, that's a pretty good job. Usually gets about 30 seconds of penalties.
Yeah.
Obviously an exaggeration, but anyone who's watched F1 regularly knows he's quite a penalty gobbler, so to speak.
Yeah.
So Jamie unable to do anything about it. Onto the bonus saying could be a high altitude problem causing connection issues. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, and wait, there is a move here. MaxiLuca going for a move on Remco around the outside in Sector 2, and he's got the better tyres, and a great move by MaxiLuca. So
Remco's chipped off his rim. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Right on the money. Remco has indeed chipped off the right part of his, and he pits. And he'll be probably going on to probably mediums to finish the race. Big C has now caught the Skeevan train, as it were. So he'll be. MaxiLuca though has shown that overtakes are possible, but probably going to have to do it in unorthodox parts of the track to get them done. Big C.
Yeah, sorry.
No, yeah, you go for it, mate.
Yeah, it's okay for Remco actually, that, because I think he would have hit around this time anyway off those supers, so not too bad, I'd say.
Yeah, and he pits for the mediums, so he's going to go to the end on those. Let's have a look, see how many stops. So Paudie's also pitted recently in 18. So LHELLBOY up to 15, just picked up 3 seconds of penalties. So let's see then. Let's go on board with the 7-time PSGL F1 champion Big C, as see if he can get through this group of cars. Skeevan not getting the best exit out of turn 14 and 13, and he could be under attack from JD. Probably would be. No, JD not getting a good exit. So I think we might see some lunges towards the end of the race if this carries on. So I think that could be the only way to get some overtakes done. And it's a real shame for those watching that these issues appear to be happening. And a 3-second penalty. And JD, the car, back of the car twitches. Will that give Greeny a chance? I think it might do. Yes, Greeny's got to go for it. And he goes late on the brakes and he squeezes JD off the track. And Big C will try and get back past as well.
Was a little clumsy there by Greeny. Should have slowed the car down a bit, but we're all guilty of those sort of ones. Sometimes, oh my lord. JD also just dived out of the inside of Big C there. I think he just outbroke himself.
Yeah,
he didn't seem like he dived to dive on too much.
So it seems like if he can't overtake through the DRS, but an individual mistake can still give you an opportunity, and Greeny, ever the opportunist, takes it. If he hadn't gone off early in the track, I think he'd probably be in a podium position at the moment, given what's happened, and Remco picks up a 3-second penalty immediately. So let's just want to see. Yeah, Joel and Josh both pitted, so that drops them to the back. Remco up to 15th. 10 seconds behind LHELLBOY, but oh, and Remco. Something's happened to Remco. And he's retired from the race. Too far behind, so he's given up. Jamie Pitts from 13th position. Let's see what he goes on.
I feel like Remco may have retired because his wing wasn't changed in the pits. I know, another glitch. When it's on auto, it just doesn't repair half the time, even if it's orange.
Jamie Pitts for soft, so he'll be going to the end. And I think we'll see a flurry of pit stops shortly.
Hopefully.
And Jamie will be hoping that some of the cars don't pit for a while, so he can maybe undercut some of the guys ahead and get into the points, because at the moment he's looking for a non-score today, which will not help his bid to retain the championship this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's crucial who tries to undercut from this train from 7th back.
Little box pits. And what tyre is he going to go on? Lap 21.
Softs, I think.
Yeah. He does indeed go on to softs. Ooh, is he going to get passed by this gaggle of cars? Well, if he ends up behind that group, some of which are probably not going to be pitting for a while, then no, he should be onto some clean track as long as those guys ahead don't take the pit. If you get caught behind Skeevan, who's going to still go quite a few laps, if he is indeed going to pit again at all, then it's going to really compromise your race, because he's lapping quite a bit slower than the cars in front of him. So Greeny and Big C will be thinking probably about a pit stop, because it looks like JD's made a pit stop for another set of soft tyres to try and undercut this little group. I think that is probably going to be the best way of doing it. And Remco, yeah, well, we saw him retire from the race. So Greeny trying to get to the back of Skeevan, but he's going to be on quite worn soft tyres now, so I think we'll be seeing Greeny and Big C peeling off to the pits, possibly even this lap to respond to JD. Yes, he does.
It's going to be a very interesting proposition, because they're going to catch up Iran, and Iran is going to have an almighty train behind him. JD's 8 seconds behind, but I'd expect him to close that in probably 8 laps, maybe less. He's close to 2/10 in the time that I've been speaking, so that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. And Oogie, incidentally, has closed onto the back of AMS, who is struggling with worn tyres. So Oogie's showing a bit of mid-stint pace. I mean, we know his tyre wear is superb, and he can keep those tyres going longer than most. So AMS struggling a little bit at this stage. So Big C moves up to 6th, but still stuck behind Skeevan. So the guys who have pitted a bit earlier will hopefully try and leapfrog Big C if he pits with that lap advantage on the undercut. JD actually didn't manage to undercut Greeny, even though he pitted the lap before. Oh, a 5-second. XJackLacey gets a 5-second penalty.
Wow. Whew.
But he won't serve it now, but he'll get the 5 seconds at the end. So if Cliffy doesn't get any penalties, he might have just handed the victory to Cliffy, assuming he can keep within 5 seconds, because I don't think XJackLacey has any other penalties outside of that. So AMS takes the lead in the race from Oogie.
Wow, Skeevan's also going to have a massive train behind him soon, consisting of Jack, Lickle and Cliffy. Cliffy coming out close to Lickle. Oh no, he isn't. No, he isn't. Forget that.
Yeah, well, if Skeevan goes to the end, then, well, he could win this race. Although I think he's got penalties as well, so we could have like the biggest train ever if Skeevan goes to the end of the race.
Potentially. Oh, Aaron's coming to the pits.
Aaron pits for Supersofts. Now, this is what is crucial now. Will Skeevan... XJackLacey had a 5-second gap to Little Blocks before the pit stop. But if Skeevan goes much longer, then that is going to play into XJackLacey's opponent's hands, because that 5 seconds will be added at the end of the race. Oogie pits, and Skeevan pits. So well, XJackLacey won't be held up. So we're going to see some super soft action from the likes of AMS, and I'm sure Oogie will be doing the same. Skeevan has gone on to super softs as well. No, he's gone on to softs. On my screen. Softs on mine, but there might be, well, we'll soon see in the top lane. So MaxiLuca sets the fast. Look at this train. Greeny now holding up JD. Oh, Big C's dropped back behind JD. Look, there's more cars coming out. Oh, this is going to be mighty close.
This is going to be epic.
And Lordy Boy is sort of involved in this group as well. Greeny's got ahead of Lordy Boy, so that means JD. So Lordy Boy is on very worn tyres. Oh, this is ridiculous! Look at it! Look how close JD hits the back of Lordy Boy, and he goes off the track. It was an unnecessary move. Oh dear! JD drops out of the points. Victim number 1 of the Lordy Boy train. No fault of Lordy Boy, of course. JD out of the race. Big C moves up to 7th. Well, it's not over yet. There's been some strange things going on with the downforce and the slipstream. And Jamie's out of the race. The reigning champion out of the race. What happened to him? He's binned it.
Hit the wall.
He's crashed with a Sauber. He's Joel, I think. So yeah, sector 2. So Jamie's out of the race. And Big C goes for an almighty lunge on Lordy Boy down the inside, and he goes around the outside of Lordy Boy and gets the move done. Maybe the downforce is back for the final stint, and we're going to see some racing. We have still seen a few overtakes. Yeah, it looks like there's a bit more slipstream at this stage. Although on my screen it looks like Lordy Boy's got 2 medium tyres and 2 super soft tyres. What the hell?
Oh my lord. Anyway, on my screen, Lordy Boy. Sorry, you carry on.
No, yeah, MaxiLuca, I'm going to say on my great view of the battle ahead between Oogie and Skeevan. They tangle as they go through turns 9 and 10. MaxiLuca touches the back of Oogie. Nearly hits the wall, just avoids it, but he's still in 10th, so he has no long-term damage. So now, Skeevan. Yeah, I mean, look on my screen. He's got... Well, you can't see my screen, obviously, but he's got super soft and medium tyres. That's illegal, surely. Obviously, it's another glitch, but Skeevan now putting Lordy Boy under pressure. Can Oogie take them both? I'm going to go on board with Oogie so we can get a perfect view of all 3 cars. And Skeevan's going to dive down the inside of Lordy Boy. And he gets the move done. No, they're still alongside each other. Skeevan's basically caught the corner. And now Oogie looking for a move down the inside into 4. Oh, it takes the and he forces Lordy Boy off. Aggressive move, but he gets it done. So they're up 7th. So let's go to the front. Little Blocks 2.1 seconds behind XJackLacey, who leads the race, but he has that 5-second penalty. So assuming that's added on at the end of the race, Little Blocks and Cliffy will leap ahead of him. But we shall see.
Yes. Sadly, I didn't get to see any of that battle with Lordy because he's desynced on my screen, which is a shame. But
yeah, I don't know if he doesn't look desynced on mine, but who knows?
Yeah, it's just mine. I can't see him. So I saw JD lose his wing on air.
Yeah, so we've had 6 retirements, a full grid tonight for this PSGL F1 race, first of the season. Now Oogie and Skeevan will go into battle once again, and it looks like to me there is more of a slipstream now. Perhaps not as much as you expect, but certainly much more than earlier. So better exit from Oogie, bit of a lock off the tyres of Skeevan a few corners earlier. Oogie dives down the inside of Skeevan, forcing her. They're going to go side by side as they run up the hill towards turn 6, 7 and 8. And Oogie round the outside, takes 7th position. Brilliant move from the Force India driver.
Yeah, that was superb.
Superb. It's just a shame Oogie's probably going to tumble out of the top 10 because of that penalty he'll have, but he's certainly shown what he can do today. Now Cliffy, right on the back now of Little Blocks. Little Blocks goes extremely defensive, but Cliffy will put it round the outside as they go into the centre S's, and he takes it in brilliant style. Second place.
Back though. He's got a run, Nicole. I'm not sure whether he's got enough run though.
Yeah, Cliffy will try and stave him off going defensive. And Cliffy has it done, so Little Blocks runs wide. And furious Jamie on the team radio blaming a certain Mercedes driver who I won't name for his incident, but he's not a happy Welshman at this stage. AMS in a very quiet 4th position, that's good points for him. Greeny, despite having a wing change, much like last week where he had a drive-through, somehow in a good position, so seems to be a bit of a vulture in the last few races and picking up points where maybe he shouldn't do because of other people's problems. But Big C is closing the gap to him.
The Sauber team is famed for the vultures last season, even picking up that podium at Singapore when really it looked unlikely. And again, really being not a Sauber, a vulture.
Well, big question is, can Cliffy on lap 29, not many laps to go now of this Brazilian Grand Prix, which has really ignited in the last few laps, can he catch up to XJackLacey, assuming he gets no penalties? And that 5 seconds is added on for XJackLacey for the stop go, which he won't serve, and he will be winning this race, but he would prefer to do it on track if he can. So let's move down the order. Quite a big gap between AMS and Greeny. Big C 1.3 seconds behind, and Oogie has got Skeevan still behind him and MaxiLuca. HELLBOY, if it wasn't for that 15 seconds of penalties he will receive, would have scored Williams his first point of the season, but that looks highly unlikely now unless we see a glut of retirements at the end of the race or some massive penalties. So Paudie at the moment in the prime seat for the final championship point, and the 2 Renaults now defending from Lordy Boy, who's now showing as super softs on my screen. So not sure what was going on there. Yeah, he's made, so everyone's made said, oh, and Lordy Boy touches the back of Iran. Don't think he's damaged his wing though, I think he's got away with it. But yeah, it's not been a particularly great race for Renault, it has to be said. XJackLacey managing the gap at the front, 2.4 second advantage to Cliffy's Mercedes. But I really don't know, because I'm not, if a 5 second stop go penalty, is that actually added on at the end if you don't serve it?
Yeah, I think it's added on as a 10-second penalty at the end, which obviously isn't right, and it should actually be only 5 seconds. That's what I think at least, but no, we'll see.
There's been a lot of penalties in this race, more than I expected.
Yeah, I didn't expect really any, to be honest with you. Maybe the odd stop-go for speeding in this pit, because it's quite easy to, but yeah.
Thank you everybody who's watching, who's patiently stayed with us with stream problems thanks to the game and qualifying and all that stuff. I think we've been treated to some good entertainment in the end. So Big C less than a second now, within DRS range. Oh, yellow's in sector 2. Lordy Boy is out of the race. So another retirement. Let's see what's happened to him. Yeah, he's lost it. Coming up, probably tangled with one of the Renaults, I would expect. So I think the stewards could be quite busy tonight, judging on what I've seen. So Big C closing onto the back of Greeny. These two know each other very well. Greeny dropping back from AMS by a few tenths a lap. So he's going to be defending his 5th position for the rest of the race, but Big C seems to have much better traction at this stage.
He's a very difficult driver to pass Greeny, I'll give him that. He's a good defender.
He's very aggressive. He's a very aggressive defender. That's what makes it. It almost makes the driver behind second guess. Yeah. Big C, with all his experience, he probably knows all the tricks in the book. Oh, Greeny puts the rear left onto the grass, and that's going to probably compromise his braking for the next corner. No, he does a decent job, to be fair. Yeah.
Pretty good exit actually, but he should be under pressure unless the slipstream has magically disappeared again. We will see.
Well, Big C, yeah, he's closing. I think it's
not enough.
No, it's not enough. I think Big C might have to go for an almighty lunge. He's thinking about it. He'll be trying to force Greeny into a mistake at this section, which he's seemed to do a few mistakes. But no, Greeny again, good exit out of the centre S's.
Yeah, I think Greeny's running probably with a little less downforce, because Big C is quicker better on the braking and quicker through the corners.
The safety car's still broken, JP, so it can't be run unless they release another patch for it. I mean, Co-Masters think it's fixed, but it's not. so it can't be run. It's a game breaker, because sometimes you get the safety car will just stay out like indefinitely, or you get yellow flags indefinitely with a virtual safety car. It wouldn't be so bad if you could have the option of having virtual safety car only, which I think is something they should put in F1 2018, so at least you could have some strategy then when someone crashes out. But it's like F1 2015 all over again. Safety car didn't work at all in that game. So Big C closing in. Now let's go back to MaxiLuca, who was less than a second behind Skeevan, but he's dropped back again.
Cliffy doesn't get, no, not Cliffy, Green doesn't get as good an exit as he did before, but he's still not going to be under pressure, really.
No, I think Big C will probably be thinking about a move somewhere differently, although Greeny gets a poor exit out of turn 5. Greeny will stick his car in the middle to stop Big C going around the outside.
Got the inside, come on. Oh.
Well, I think Big C's lining up a move for this next corner. Well, he was thinking about it, but I think Greeny saw it coming, so he stuck his car there. It's just the way Big C was moving the car, it looked like he was looking for a move. Turn 10 is a place you can overtake if the other guy gets a poor exit out of turn 9. Good place to surprise him. So Big C currently in 6th position. But don't forget, he has that 5 seconds for that yellow flag, which will probably be removed after the race.
Stop goes don't tend to be removed, if I'm honest. We'll see. But in the past, I know Big C has been one to not want stop goes removed, so
maybe. Well, we shall see. It's not up to us. We just call it as we see it. So, XJackLacey, 2.3 second advantage. Haven't really shown much to leaders because, frankly, there isn't any battling going on between them. This is the main battle on track between these two. Greeny was in the Ferrari last season, of course, so you'll be very familiar with that red car behind. Oh, Greeny goes deep. It's gone deep. Now low. Can Big C go? Quite get the traction to go around the outside. I think if he was on the super softs, he probably would have had it. But lap 35, penultimate lap of this race. I think XJackLacey will be hoping that penalty doesn't get added on. I think Cliffy may be about to win this race. Penultimate lap then of this PSGL F1 Brazilian Grand Prix, which has had its quiet periods, but has also had a few frenetic moments as well. But yeah, Greeny just doing enough to stay ahead of Big C at the moment. Only 13 runners from the 20 who started. And although HELLBOY has managed to eke out an 8.5 second advantage to Paudie, I don't think that's going to be enough to get a point for Williams today. MaxiLuca, a penalty, apparently.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised about that, if I'm honest.
Another 3 seconds added on to... I mean, I'm trying to remember... I think Cliffy is probably the only person who didn't get a penalty. From my memory, I'm not sure. So, XJackLacey starts final lap. Big C is as close as he's been.
Never. Yeah, good exit.
Good exit from Big C. Oh, this is... He's got to go for it now, and yes, pulls alongside the Sauber driver, both Ferrari powered, of course, in real life, and Big C will get this done with ease, but will Greeny come back at him? And no, it's not a good exit from Greeny, so Big C gets the job done. 5th place, valuable points towards the championship. But let's go on board with XJackLacey, who moves through turn 9, then into turn 10. HELLBOY gets a 3 second penalty. Aaron's right on the back of Paudie, so I might switch back to that after XJackLacey crosses the line.
Full point.
So XJackLacey goes up the hill for the last time, and he will take the race win on track, but where will he finish as Cliffy crosses the line and wins, I believe, the Brazilian Grand Prix for PSGL. 3 different winners from the first 3 races. Little Blocks takes us... Oh wait, now it's switched back to XJackLacey to win the race.
I think Cliffy's won. I believe.
Well, unless it's C-synced again, I don't know. Big C takes 5th, MS4, Oogie Azeem. Let's see, Aaron has got past Paudie, so will that be enough for the final championship point on track? Probably will be after 15, I don't know. Well, it definitely said Cliffy was ahead for like 5 seconds, then it switched back to XJackLacey. So yeah, confusing situation. Aaron takes the final point, Paudie 11th, HELLBOY has done a frizzo over the line. And we're going to have a Mexico 2016 situation where the podium changes right in this few seconds.
We shall see. We shall see.
That's if the game will actually load the podium. So apparently XJackLacey has won the race. But maybe Cliffy had penalties, but the game have switched it all around. But so XJackLacey may have won this race.
Has he won on your screen? Because on my screen in the timing area, he is 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, it seems to have desynced a bit, so that's definitely the top. That's definitely the top 3.
Yeah.
I mean,
top 3.
no, Cliffy's definitely won because XJackLacey's got 10 seconds of penalties, and Cliffy's got none. So yeah, we can definitely say Cliffy's won based off that. Yeah. So I think it's just desynced slightly in that respect. So Cliffy takes the Brazilian Grand Prix victory, and XJackLacey in 2nd position, I believe, and Little Blocks takes 3rd position. This is all provisional, to be honest now, but AMS 4th, Big C 5th, Oogie and Azeem, Greeny in 7th, MaxiLuca in 8th, Skeevan in 9th, Aaron in 10th, Paudie, HELLBOY and Joel make up the final finishes, and the rest retired. Of course, Oogie will be dropping down a few positions because of his 15-second time penalty, but we will let the admins sort that out. So he's probably finished probably about 9th based off that.
Yeah.
Right, so if you could invite the podium in.
You're the party leader, so I can only suggest, but I'll suggest them.
Okay, no, I'll do it now. Okay, so bear with us.
Do you want me to ask some questions then?
Yes, definitely. So let's get
Yeah,
XJackLacey in here first. Bear with us. Hope you enjoyed that race, even if the game has created a bit of a confusing result. But I'm pretty sure Cliffy's won. Right, there's XJackLacey, and then we need Cliffy. Well, we can ask them what it says on their screen.
With this game, you never know.
Yep, agreed. Cool. Invite sent.
Nice.
Right, let's get out of this. Right.
No, well done, Cliffy.
Right, so I'm going to hand you over to Louis, who's going to conduct the podium interview.
Oh. Jack won't be taking part in the interviews. Okay then. We'll wait till Lickle joins anyway, if he does join. If not, it'll just be Cliffy. But that's good because he's a race winner, so.
Yeah, XJackLacey won't be joining us, so there is that.
I'm not sure whether Lickle joins the interviews.
He'll be here.
Will he? Okay, good.
Yeah, he'll definitely be here. There he is.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Alright. So yeah, well done to Cliffy, who won, and obviously Lickle, who finished third in the end, just behind Jack. So, I was wondering, first of all, Cliffy, do you think you can kickstart a title challenge with this win? Because obviously it was a pretty solid win, and you've had some pretty good form, obviously 4th and 5th in the last 2 rounds, so nice and consistent, something that perhaps you weren't last season. Do you think you can challenge for the title this season?
Definitely. I mean, the first 2 rounds have been recovery drives, obviously, as you've seen on stream, so it's nice to finally get the win. But again, it's unlucky on Jack, because obviously he would have won the race, but it's unfortunately got the speed into pit lane, which I had no clue about, obviously, until I saw the race results, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I won the race.
Yeah. So yeah, well done to you, and Lickle, well done as well on your maiden F1 podium. It's a pretty under the radar sort of drive, so well done on that. I was just wondering kind of how your race went in general, because we didn't really cover you too much, so what happened really?
I tried going for a bit of a gamble at the start by fueling the car a bit, but it got dry too quickly, so I had to save fuel. In the middle sector, and I was getting caught by Cliffy by a good half a second in the middle sector, and then Jack was pulling away from me about 6/10 in the middle sector, so I was losing a lot of time then, and on the straights I just had no straight line speed whatsoever.
Okay, fair enough. Also, I've got a question for kind of both of you. It's quite relevant. I was wondering, what do you think of your kind of teammates' respective struggles recently? Obviously, Cliffy, your teammates with Maxi, who's had a run of 2 points in 11 races, I think, and Lickle, teammates with Lordy, who, by his standards, has been doing okay, but obviously still not the highest number of points. So, what have you got to say about them, and are you going to tell them to up their game or anything? Have you got any tips for them? So, Cliffy first, if you want.
Obviously, everyone who's in F1 knows that Max has the potential to get podiums, obviously get those wins, but I don't know, but he thinks more about the stats, and I've told him the whole race, even if you just score 1 point, you'll still break, how long you've gone without scoring points, and luckily I think he got 7th or 8th, so he got points, which is not huge relief, not just to him, but to me. I was more excited that he got 8th than me winning the race.
Yeah. So
hopefully he can kickstart his season now and put in some top 5 finishes, hopefully.
And Lickle, what about Lordy? What do you think of how he's been doing?
To be honest with you, I don't really know about Lordy. Don't really speak to him. We'll just put together randomly as teammates for the start, so don't know what I can do. Don't really speak to him. Don't really know each other. So if I can help him, I'll try to. But yeah, I'll just try my best to do it.
Right, fair enough. And on to the next round then. What are your thoughts on Austria? Obviously, pretty short lap, not too many corners. So yeah, what are your thoughts, both of you?
I don't know, Rossi. But it's such a short lap. I feel like if you make one mistake, that's it. The lap's done. So I feel like you definitely have to nail the lap. But it's not been a personal favourite of mine, so I sort of have to practice for that one, I guess.
Fair enough. And Lickle.
Don't really know, to be honest. Been taken up both times in the league race I have been there, so I don't know what my race pace is like around there. So just have to do a bit of practice to see what I can do.
All right. Right, Venom, have you got any questions for Cliffy and Lickle?
No, I think you've pretty much covered everything. So,
okay, nice. Okay, well on to Cliffy, who won, and Lickle in third, and Jack as well, who finished second.
Yes, and JackLacey
Thanks, guys.
takes the lead of the championship with that second place. So although he'll be slightly aggrieved to have lost out on the win because of a pit stop speed penalty, he'll be at least pleased with taking the lead of the overall championship lead. So after 3 rounds, we head to Europe next week for the first European race of the PSGL F1 season in Austria. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week. See you next time.